Hans Niemann is suing Magnus Carlsen for $100 million. So, what have you been up to this week? Can't believe this is happening in the chess world. Check out this lawsuit. 20th of October 22. Hans Niemann, plaintiff. There are so many new words for me in this document. Whenever there's a new lawyer term, I'm going to make a note on the right. Hans Niemann is suing Magnus Carlsen, the Play Magnus Group, Daniel Wrench and Hikaru Nakamura in this gigantic lawsuit. 202 bullet points, 44 pages. I've read the whole thing. It took about an hour and a half, so I'm going to talk about the most interesting points. So stick around. Let's see how quickly I can get through this entire document. By the way, this document is white and it's hurting my eyes, so for the rest of this document, for the rest of this video, I'm going to be wearing shades. Let's go to bullet point 6. Here we go. This is where it all began. On September the 4th, 22, Niemann soundly defeated Carlsen during an in-person game at the Sinkfield Cup tournament. Notably, this was not the first time Niemann beat Carlsen, just the first time he did so at a FIDE event. Niemann's victory dashed Carlsen's 2 ambitions, achieving a 2900 performance rating for the first time in history and breaking his own world record unbeaten streak in FIDE events. These accomplishments would have solidified Carlsen as the greatest of all time and made his empire more valuable. Making matters worse, Niemann embarrassed Carlsen by playfully taunting him during his match interview. Bullet 8, notorious for his inability to cope with defeat. That's a big one. The best players in the world are known for being terrible losers. The best players in the world hate losing. Notorious, in my opinion, is actually the wrong word. Notorious means famous for the wrong reason. I would say Carlsen is well known for hating losing. Carlsen snapped, enraged at the young Niemann, fully 12 years his junior, so that just means 12 years younger, dared to disrespect the king of chess, and fearful the young prodigy would further blemish his $1 million brand by beating him again. Carlsen retaliated against Niemann by accusing him without any evidence of somehow cheating during the in-person game and demanding the organizers disqualify him from the tournament. Here we go, just setting this all up. Bullet 10 days later, Carlsen was scheduled to play him in the Julius Cup. Rather than seek to redeem himself from his loss, the king of chess gutlessly forfeited the game. I think gutlessly is the wrong word there. He's just building his case, really. Forfeited the game after making a move and then issued a press release repeating his false accusations. 15. Despite the falsity of defendants' accusations, defamation by design destroyed Niemann's remarkable career in its prime and ruined his life. Up to a point, I would agree with that. If chess is your life, if this is what you do most of the time, your reputation at the moment is in tatters. This really has to be sorted out, because at the moment Hans Niemann is not going to have a career if he is found guilty. If he's innocent, well, that's what this lawsuit is about. As a result of Play Magnus and Chess.com's collusion to blacklist him, yeah, this is the problem. Niemann can no longer play in any online tournaments and will not receive invitations to events. That's a big one. If you're not going to get invited to big tournaments, how are you going to maintain the lifestyle of being a pro chess player? Or really, being a pro anything, being a pro athlete, being a pro in any field. 18, and here we go. This is the first point, the first time I believe the fee is mentioned. Bullet 18, Niemann seeks damages in an amount to be determined at trial, but no less than $100 million. Parties, this bit is quite funny in my opinion, just because of the word natural. Plaintiff, Hans Niemann is a natural person and a Connecticut resident Magnus is a natural person from Norway, Danny Wrench, natural person from Utah, and Nakamura, natural person. I'm guessing that's just some lawyer term they use, as opposed to an unnatural person, some robot. You might as well have just said all of these people are human beings living in certain places. That would have been funny. I mean, you've just wasted a few bullet points here. But anyway, 28. FIDE and its oversight of pro chess. 28. Since 1924, chess has been regulated by FIDE. Fédération Internationale des Échecs. In its current form, FIDE is made up of national organizations in 200 countries and is recognized by this committee as the official organization. Just a bit of history. That's why I wanted to say that. 31. Before 2021, FIDE only officially sanctioned matches, so allowed matches and tournaments that were held in person, with participants playing their matches over the board, physically sitting across from each other and moving their pieces by hand. FIDE employs strict anti-cheating procedures, such as screening players for metal and electronic devices, broadcasting games with time delays, and tightly observing the players. Now, the last bit, that's up to the arbiters. If you're going to really closely follow someone, I really like this point, which has been happening, I think, in the last year or so, where there's got to be a time delay. Imagine if there was a 1 hour time delay between the actual move, the last move, and the broadcast. There's just no way for the guy to cheat. So if I was doing this, I might even extend that delay to an hour. I think that's a really good anti-cheating method. Let me know in the chat. Do you think that's a really good method? 36, just a bit of history. Over the past 3 decades, these chess platforms have seen a rise in popularity due to the ease with which they allow individuals of all skill levels to play chess quickly and easily with others all over the world. That's great. Due to the internet, due to the popularity, the last 30 years, anyone can just log on to the internet, pick a platform, Lead Chess, that's a cool one, and just start playing. Another bit of history on bullet point 50 concerning Magnus's company, the Play Magnus Group. Over the years, it's expanded its reach in the chess world by acquiring other websites and content creators. In 2019, Play Magnus acquired Chess24 and Chessable. Chess24 is one of the most popular websites and hosts one of the 2 largest servers other than chess.com. I really like Chess24. By the way, the video series on there are excellent. I recommend Matthew Sadler's videos and Peter Svidler's videos, 2 of the best teachers, I think. Very, very high quality videos. Check these 2 grandmasters out. In 2020, Play Magnus expanded further by acquiring iChess.net. 21, Play Magnus got the Dutch magazine New in Chess. Yeah, that is the best chess magazine for pros. The analysis from the top players is just so high quality and it's actually quite fun. On the final page, you get, let's say, just a very short questionnaire. The top players filled it out, and then you just get to find out a bit about that player. Now we're going to jump to 59. Nakamura has also had a hateful relationship with Niemann for several years, dating back to when they both worked as streamers for chess.com. Nakamura viewed Niemann as a threat to his dominance on chess streaming platforms. That is subjective. I think you have to ask Nakamura if that's even true. Bullet points 60 to 64 concern Niemann, so we're just gonna look at his history. Niemann and his rise from a child prodigy to FIDE top 40 player. Niemann is an American prodigy. At the age of 11, he became the youngest player to win this, and that at the age of 16, he had no financial support. He got a scholarship to attend Columbia Grammar School. While in school, Niemann supported himself by teaching chess at other schools, including the Nightingale School and the Browning School. Age 17, FIDE gave Niemann the title of GM, which was only 3 years ago. Since then, Niemann by playing a record number of games in 21, has been climbing the ranks by virtue of his decision to dedicate himself to playing in FIDE allowed tournaments. Niemann rose in the rankings to 40th in the world. So that's Niemann's history so far. Now we're going to jump to 73. The third round of the Sinquefield Cup took place on the 4th of September 22, with Niemann facing Carlsen. That's where this lawsuit is based on. 79. Niemann not only beat Carlsen, he embarrassed him by defeating him with the black pieces and playfully taunting him during and after the match. That's a bit funny. That doesn't actually sound good for Niemann. Why are you taunting him during the match? They might take that out later if they edit this, because you can't taunt someone during a game because that's going to affect Carlsen. I'm guessing he means you taunted him after the match, which I saw. That was just an interview saying Niemann, he was saying that it's an embarrassment to lose to me. He also shattered Carlsen's 53-game streak and made it impossible for Carlsen to ever achieve 2,900. That's your opinion. Maybe he will do it one day. Maybe it's just so difficult now. Got to win every classical game. What is more, Niemann handed Carlsen this stunning upset. I don't know if I would say stunning. It's very it's very surprising, I mean, for a top player, anyone in the world to beat Carlsen with black, but I wouldn't say it's stunning, while Carlsen was in the midst of negotiating the merger to solidify Carlsen's empire around his Magnus brand. Empire, that's a shady word in my opinion. The first thing I think about when we talk about empire is just so much money, really. Everyone's merging together, big company, big name on the front now, and there's a lot of money. Doesn't actually sound like a positive word. Let's now go to 83, 4, and 5. Then at 2 p.m, September the 5th, 20, the day after Niemann's shocking upset. There's a typo there, 2022. Carlsen announced that on his Twitter page he had withdrawn from the Sinquefield Cup. In that Twitter post, Carlsen linked to a video of soccer manager Jose Mourinho. I remember seeing this weeks ago. Notoriously reacting to a referee decision by saying, "I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble." And Carlsen tweeted that as well. And 85, Carlsen knew full well withdrawing in the middle of a high-profile tournament like the Sinquefield is unheard of. Absolutely, I've never heard Carlsen do this, and it's sending signals throughout the chess world, completely shaking it up. Virtually unheard of for any top player, let alone the reigning champ, widely considered to be the greatest player in history. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of unnecessary words. Why does that matter? I mean, it's just opinion, really. Just take that out. There's just too many words in a lawsuit. I mean, they can cut a lot of this. Now we are going to skip to the next interesting moment. 100. I've already read this document. I'm just giving you the best points in my opinion. Bullet point 100. During his stream the next day on September the 6th, 22, Nakamura continued to amplify Carlsen's allegations and reiterated his own knowledge proved Carlsen's accusations were true. Nakamura, here we go. This is something that's been going on for a long time. I've heard from many people, and when Magnus is a world champ, essentially, there's something weird going on. You look at it differently. Yeah, absolutely. I remember this a week or two ago. Why would Magnus say if there's literally no hard proof? Like I said, amongst GMs, this rumor's been around forever. I've heard it. I've dismissed it many times, but actual top players are saying stuff now. Yeah, rumors. Yeah, they're developing. 102. In response to Carlsen and Nakamura's accusations, Niemann gave an interview denying he had cheated in his Sinquefield Cup match against Carlsen on the 4th of September or in any other FIDE event. During that interview, Niemann, hoping to set the record straight, also responded to Nakamura's accusations of online cheating in games by honestly admitting, when he was 12 and 16, he had regrettably used a chess engine, a computer program designed to calculate the best move, in a handful of non-FIDE matches he played online. Niemann expressed deep remorse for using a chess engine in these chess.com games, calling it the worst mistake of his life. Looking back on this, if I was Niemann, I would never have admitted this. You are painting, you're giving people a chance to paint yourself in a bad light. Weird word, isn't it, to use the word candidly, honestly, in a lawsuit. Admitting when he was 12 and 16, he regrettably used a chess engine. Yeah, don't even mention this. You're giving Magnus, you're giving other people a chance to take shots. Fair enough that Niemann felt remorse. Yeah, worst mistake of his life, cheating on chess.com. Let's now go to 109 conspiracy theories. Here we go. Enter Elon Musk. Began going viral on the internet, no longer concerned with whether Niemann actually cheated, but how he could have in an over-the-board game with strict protocols. These theories were so outrageous, here we go, they garnered the attention of Elon Musk, who spread them in Twitter. Vibration beads, anal beads, usual stuff, right? And Stephen Colbert, who spread them on The Late Show. Elon Musk has 107.8 million. Oh wow. And The Late Show with 2.3. Anal beads, vibration beads. Maybe this is how he cheated. Who knows? A top player, all they need is a moment for, let's say, a chess engine to tell them the right move. A certain vibration, just to give them a hint. Did they cheat? I mean, to give them a hint. To give them a hint to say, okay, that's actually the best move. Maybe you need only 2 or 3 moments in a critical game to steer the game in the correct direction. Maybe vibration beads, anal beads was a way. Was one way, but we don't know. Let's keep going. I believe that's what Elon Musk said a couple of weeks ago. So that's 109. Let's keep going. Let's go to F113. Defendants continue to defame Niemann after another match with Carlsen. Instead, Carlsen chose to pour more gasoline on the fire. Oh dear. He started by resigning from his match after making a move. This is what followed after the Singfield Cup. He lost there, and then when they played again in the Julius Cup, he just resigned on move 1. Another act for any top pro player. By doing so, Carlsen sent another clear message to the public, stood by his prior accusation Niemann had cheated against him at the Singfield, and that the public onslaught, oh dear, he unleashed against Niemann was truthful, justified, and should continue. Let's go to 118. Here we go. Moreover, to further fuel his prior accusations, Carlsen added yet another one into the mix by stating, I have to say I'm very impressed by Niemann's play, and I think his mentor Maxim Dlugy must be doing a great job. Oh dear, I heard this a week ago. When I first heard this, I thought, okay, well, I knew of Maxim Dlugy, Russian GM, and then you start searching, and maybe Carlsen was name dropping because there could be a connection. Well, that's what 119 is saying. Dlugy is not Niemann's coach, no involvement. Dlugy is a pro player who's rumored to have cheated in online games on chess.com. Here we go. Accordingly, for those familiar, falsely associating Niemann's play with Dlugy was a direct accusation that Dlugy somehow helped Niemann cheat. Yep, that's exactly it. Indirect accusation. I remember this interview when Magnus had just finished a match in one of the Chess 24 online tournaments. There was an interview. 120, the reporter, well aware of the message. You mentioned a name. I think maybe a trainer. He's doing a good job. And asked if Carlsen could say something more. Is that because you think Dlugy is helping? Hands in the games. Carlsen confirmed it by laughing and saying to say a little bit more about it after the tournament. Let's jump to G124. G. Carlsen issues a statement explicitly accusing Niemann of cheating against him and confirming his intention to blacklist Niemann from pro chess. Yeah, G's a big one. Really strong. Can't blacklist someone, okay? You're a chess player saying you can't play in lots of tournaments. Career could be over. That is really gonna suck. So let's go to this one. Yeah, this is a big one. On September the 26th, Magnus issued a statement on his Twitter accusing Niemann of cheating against him at Sinkfield. Right, here we go. I believe Niemann cheated more, that he has publicly admitted his over-the-board progress has been unusual. And throughout our game in Sinkfield, I had the impression he wasn't tense or even fully concentrating in critical positions. Now, this is just Magnus's feeling, but that is a big one. When you've got a great position against the best player in the world, shouldn't you be nervous? That's so interesting. While outplaying me as black in a way I think only a handful of players can do. So he's probably mentioning, let's say, the current top 10. They have the ability to beat Magnus with black. This game contributed to changing my perspective. Very, very interesting. Because, how are you going to feel? You are beating Magnus. You're outplaying him in this endgame, which is what it turned out to be. Lots of pawns per side. Rooks each. 9 bishop. And Niemann outclassed him in the endgame. Let's jump to 140 and 1. Separately, Kenneth Regen, professor at Buffalo, developed the system by FIDE to identify cheaters, regarded as the world's expert on cheating, including by Carlsen and Nakamura, confirmed there's no evidence Niemann cheated in his game against Carlsen or at any time in the last 2 years. Okay, that's a big one. Professor Regen used his program to analyze Niemann's games in 106 events with online games since 20. Professor Regen clearly stated this analysis produced no evidence of cheating over the board. The same was true with respect to the specific Sinkfield game between them, while Regen said, I found nothing. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one. But at the moment, I don't really know what that means. Let's keep going. Let's go to 149. First, at 3:30 p.m., the Wall Street Journal published an article titled Chess Investigation Finds US GM Likely Cheated More Than 100 Times, which is very interesting considering the point we just read about Professor Regen. Analysed his games, he's saying, didn't cheat. Very unlikely he cheated, but now Wall Street have come up with this article saying cheated more than 100 times. Because remember in the previous bullet point, Professor Regen analysed more than 106 of his games. So there's a bit of controversy there. Let's go to 155A and F. While we do not doubt Hans is a talented player, we note his results are statistically extraordinary. Also known as we are saying, we are implying you are a cheat. Statistically extraordinary. That's code for you might be using a computer. The conventional wisdom is that if you're not a GM by 14, it is unlikely you reach the top levels of chess. While that statement may be discouraging, absolutely, it's like why bother? It has been borne out in modern history, so fair enough. If we keep going, greats like Fischer, Kasparov, Carlsen, and almost all of the modern GMs who have been established as top 5 were GMs by 15. Yeah, chess is a young man's game, really. Got to be a GM by a teenager or else there is no career for you. So you got to look for something else. 156 CDE. 3 interesting points here in my opinion. Reports that Carlsen shared in a private conversation his experience in playing Hans was unlike a game he's ever had. If Magnus feels something is wrong, even though it's just a feeling, he is the best player in the world, there's something there. He knows something that we do not. Now, this private conversation, well, who is it with? Well, we'll see. Who knows? I mean, He emphasized he has competed against numerous prodigies and players who exert themselves and show great effort throughout a long fight in this game. He described Hans' level of exertion as effortless. That is so interesting. You know something's up, and felt he never had a chance to get back in the game, which was unusual for Magnus, who is known for his resourcefulness. Very interesting. Andrey Esipenko. I remember last year or the year before, he beat Magnus Carlsen in Tata Steel in January, which is the first big tournament of a year. In that interview, it was very clear Andrey was happy because he just could not stop smiling. That's what it means to these players. You beat the world champion and you just can't stop smiling. So if you want to check it out, there's a really cool interview of Andrey Esipenko after beating Magnus in Tata Steel, playing one of the best games of his life. That's what he called it. I've also done a video on it, so I might link that in the top right corner. D. Tries to bolster Carlsen's private conversation by claiming Hans' lack of emotion about the result was also noted by several others and linking to videos of the reaction of notable players who have beaten Magnus. So that's really the point I was mentioning. Andrey Esipenko cannot stop smiling. E claims that the game and the surrounding behaviours are bizarre. Yeah, okay, I mean, you take that out. You've already said that in C and D. Let's go to 164, 6 and 7. Alright. Subheading K, that is so strong, but we've seen this already before. Defendants' defamatory accusations have destroyed Niemann's life. That could be true, because Niemann's life, well, is chess. He plays chess all the time. Let's go to 164 on September the 5th, the same day Magnus withdrew from the sync field. Chess.com banned Niemann from website, including the Chess.com Global Championship in October. Niemann earned an invitation. This was less than a week after Chess.com confirming in writing. He was super excited to have Niemann in the event, yet the only thing that changed between 31st August 22 and September 5th was Niemann defeated Carlsen. Right. Magnus has such a big effect on a company like Chess.com. If something weird happens, well, there we go. Niemann is now banned from Chess.com. Let's go to 165. Niemann also arranged for the match against fellow up-and-coming teenager Vincent Keimer, but Keimer refused to play. 166. Prior to this accusation, Niemann had also been in extensive negotiations with Tata Steel, which is one of the world's most prestigious tournaments. Niemann to compete there, however, Tata Steel has ceased all contact, so there we go. It's got to be resolved, or else there's no career for Niemann. There's no career if you can't get any invites. Let's go 168 to 171. In a typical year, Niemann could expect to participate in 15 tournaments. You get, let's say, 15,000 in appearance fee just for showing up. Give Niemann access to cash prizes ranging from 5 to 100, and provide Niemann the chance to play matches against highly rated. By being excluded from these tournaments, Niemann has lost any chance to obtain any appearance fees. By banning Niemann from online platforms, Niemann's streaming career is destroyed. In fact, Niemann can't even obtain employment as a chess teacher at a reputable school now that his reputation has been destroyed by defendants' lies. Well, we'll find out in a month or two's time. When if they're lies or not. Let's now jump to 177. Accordingly, Niemann is entitled to a money judgment against defendants, determined at trial, but not less than 100 million. We're almost done. We are almost done. Now, 178 to 200, you can read it in your own time, but I think they're just saying the same thing. So if any lawyers are watching and you've read this document, please explain below. 178 to 200 look like, it's just the same. Right, let's go to another one. And we are approaching the end, 201 and 202. So, Niemann has suffered damages as a result of defendants' conduct. Yes, Magnus Carlsen, Danny Wrench, Nakamura, accusing him, including losing appearance fees. We've already said that. That's a big one. 23 Tata Steel, not getting that invite, and future tournaments. Losing access to prize funds, yeah. Tata Steel, future chess tournaments, and losing access to the majority of opportunities to increase his FIDE rating by playing matches, fine. Yeah, reputation in the chess industry destroyed, yeah. Being prevented from obtaining endorsements, yeah. Companies not going to sponsor you. And being forced to incur costs, expenses, fees, including but not limited to the attorney's fees. Yeah, setting up this lawsuit is going to cost a lot to try to remedy, so to fix the damage caused by Magnus and everyone accusing him. So here we go, the final bullet point. Niemann is entitled to a money judgment against defendants in an amount, but not less than 100 million. Yeah, they keep saying the same thing, and then here, that's the big one. That's how they ended it. Based on A to G, lots of causes. I didn't read them all out. I just didn't think it was worth it. Each cause costing about 100 million. So I think the whole thing, looking at all these causes, it's not 100 million each. It's 100 million altogether. Very long lawsuit document. Don't fully understand it, but I'm just trying to read it, just giving you my opinion on some of the key points. And here we go. This is the final page of the document. 20th October 22, and the lawyers here. Imagine if they win this. I bet they get paid a lot. They're probably getting paid a lot anyway, just by creating this lawsuit and working with Hans Niemann, but imagine if they win. Overall, I think this issue needs to be resolved as soon as possible. A player's career, livelihood, health is at stake, and the chess world has been shaken to its core. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this lawsuit? If you would like to stick around, there's a Hans Niemann video on the left. However, YouTube's choice is in the bottom right.